Hi everybody, Steve Dawson here, coming to you from the hen house in Nashville. It's swelteringly hot. It's way hotter than Hawaii ever gets. It's terrible. Hence the shorts. My apologies if you don't want to look at my scruffy legs. Anyway, this is the 10th one of these videos. This is going to be the last one for now. I gotta go on the road and do some playing and do some festivals. But I thank you again for tuning in and hanging out. I'm curious who all you people are. I thought maybe 3 or 4 people would tune in and watch these crazy things, but it seems like there's maybe a couple hundred people, and I'd love to know who you crazy folks are digging this zany music. Anyway, it's been fun, and I hope to do some more when I get back. I've got a busy few months coming up, and the Volcano Brothers are going to make a record, so that's exciting. Okay, so I'm going to hop right in here and talk about some slants in the context of a tune. This is a tune we've already talked about, but it's a different section of that tune. This is the Hilo March. So the first section was in the key of D, and it was the crazy right hand thing that went that one. So that part of the tune we've sort of worked through, and now I'm going to show you the next part, and the key switches. And remember how I said you rarely play in the key of G in Hawaiian, this kind of Hawaiian music? Well, here's the exception. This part's in G. So they switch from the key of D to the key of G, and as we go through it, I could be proved wrong here, but I believe everything here is just double stops on the top 2 strings, and you're going to get a real workout doing the slants, going back and forth between slanting and straight. So it's a simple melody. It's almost like a kid's tune. It's almost like You Are My Sunshine, I guess, is like the closest thing I can think of to what this is. It's kind of like that. The chords are a little wackier though, and I'll show you the chords in a bit. But let me play you the melody first, nice and slow, so you can just get a feel for what this section of the tune is. Okay, so this part of the song is in the key of G. It's really got 2 halves that are almost identical up until the end, and then they end differently. And the chords change also. So let's take a look at the first half first. I'm going to play it for you now, nice and slow, so you can get a feel for how the first half goes. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. That's the first half. Okay. Now the chords that are going on underneath that are like this. 2, 3, 4. Remember, we're in the key G, so it's G. There's your G. So we've really, the chords that we have are G, we've got C, we got G, we got C again, and then we got G to E, the 6, then A, the 2, then D, the 5. Okay, so it goes like this, chord-wise. 2, 3, 4. Here's the C, back to the 1. Back to the C, to the 4, 1, 6, 2, 5. Alright, so that's the first half. Okay, so let's look at that melody. As I mentioned, all on the top 2 strings. Picture the double stop patterns that you're going to play, and these are really great patterns to know. This is in the key of G, but you can obviously transpose this into any key. Maybe later on I'll show you some tunes that are in C that use these similar patterns, but based around the 5th fret at C. These are in G, so 12th fret, G. Top 2 strings, there's your first melody, is just those top 2 strings at the 12th fret. No slant. And you go down to the 11th fret and back up to the 12th fret. Down to the 10th fret, also straight. And there's sort of just a quick little blast between the 2nd and 1st strings, so it's like that. Just make those nice and short. Now you're going to slant. Now when I talk about slanting, in this section of this tune, I'm always talking about a normal slant, which is your top string is high and your 2nd string goes 1 fret back from there. So it's a fairly standard, fairly simple slant, but man, you got to have it down to play this section of this tune. So we've got, there's your first slant. So right there. So you're at 9 on the top string and 8 on the second string. And then shove that down a fret and back up. There's your first phrase. You can kind of phrase it however you want, but that's basically the idea. Okay, moving on. We're going to start at where we left off at the 8th and 9th fret. Go to the 10th straight, 12th straight. Now a slant at the 14th and 13th fret. So we're actually outlining a C chord here. Now here's how you know where you're at with a slant. The note on the second string that you're playing is the root note of this slant. So in this case, we've got a 13th fret of the second string and 14th fret of the top string. That 13th fret of the second string is a C note, and that's your root note of that double stop. And coincidentally, that's where the chord changes to the C. So we've got, all this is over G. Then we build up to that C chord. That's where the chord changes. And we go slant at 13, 14, and then straight up at 17, and that's 12 frets up from the 5th fret C. So the 17th fret C is exactly the same as the 5th fret C, just an octave higher. So we've got, leading up from the 8 and 9, we've got double stop, slant, straight at 17. Now we're going to descend back to our G chord. So we're going 17th fret, slant it at 16 and 15, and then 14 and 13, and then 12 straight again. And you could do 11, 12. All right, let's put that all together. Nice and slow. 3, 4. Slant. C. So that's 17, 16, 15, 14, 13. Play that again before you go down to the 12. I sort of forgot that little detail. So it's slant, slant, and then slant straight. Yeah. And then 11, 12. Cool. Okay, next phrase, it basically starts the same. So we've got 12, 11, 12, straight, 14, 13, slant, 17, straight, 16, 15, slant, 14, 13, slant, 14, 13 again, down to 12, 11, 12, so that's very familiar because we've just done that. So coming out of the C chord, we've got 17, straight, 16, 15, slant, 14, 13, slant, 14, 13 to 12. Now right there, we've actually progressed to the next part of the chord progression, and that time we hit the 12th fret, we're actually playing an E chord. And the E chord is at the 9th fret, but remember, if you want to play an E7, and we do, you take the top 2 strings and bump them up 3 frets. So there's your E, there's your E7. So when we get down to here, that one, that's your E7 right there. Okay, so that's 3/4 of the first half. The last quarter goes 12, 11, 12, and then 11, 10, and that's outlining an A chord. How do I know? Because the second string note is an A at the 10th fret. So that's an A. Now we're going to slide up to the 14th fret straight, and that's another A chord. Yeah. 17th fret, and now that 17th fret is an A7. It's just all mathematics. There's your A, and then we're going to end on the D. And the D we get to by going 16, 15, and that now is a D chord. And just play it twice, slide it down a fret, and back up. Okay, now a little advanced thing, as you work through these double stops. This is a cool one to really check out. When you go 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12. That requires work because you really need to get the hang of how this feels to go 17, slant, but then you can't just take that slant and move it down 2 frets. It's going to be pitchy. At that point on your neck, and everyone's guitar is going to be a little bit different, you need to slant it a little bit more because the frets are getting bigger. And as the frets get bigger, the slants need to get more, what would the word be? More bigger. So just practicing this, oh, something turned off. 17, 16, 15, make the slant a little bit bigger as you slide down to 14, 13, 12. So just practice that a few times. Okay, so here's our whole first half, nice and slow. 3, 4. Okay, so now we've got through the entire first half of the progression. The second half of the progression goes like this. G, same as the first half. C, 4 chord, back to G, C. Now instead of going to G like the first half did, it goes straight to the E, to A, to D, back to G. All right, so that whole progression goes 1, 4, 1, 4, 6, 2, 5, 1. Strange. It's strange. It's weird. It's funny. Okay, so let's take a look at the second half of the melody. It starts exactly like the first half. Okay, no change there. So we're just repeating ourselves. So that's the whole first half of the second half. It's identical to the first half of the first half. The second half of the second half goes like this. And that gets you to the end. So it starts 11, 12, slant, 13, 14. So it just goes 11, 12, and then your slant, 13, 14. Then 17, straight, 16, 15, 14, 13. Again, 12, 11, 10. You can sort of play that twice. And then the very last phrase, twice on 12, 13, 14, slant, back to 12, 10. Do that quick little second to first string, again, and then 9, 8. And then a fret down, back up. Okay, let's do the whole thing, nice and slow. I'll try and talk through it a bit and see what happens. 2, 3. Second half. E7, A, D. Second half of the piece starts exactly the same. Here's where it gets different, right? There. And then from there you go into back to that part of the song. All right, so that's the whole thing. Let me play it medium tempo now for you. 1, 2, 3, 4. second half. Okay, that's it. Have fun with that. Work on your slants. Work on all your Hawaiian guitar moves. And I hope to see you in a while. Let me know who you are out there. And thanks for watching. I'll play this one more time as we're going out kind of more up to speed. All right, thanks everybody. See you later. 1, 2, 3.